I just had the pleasure of speaking to the rabbi that testified earlier. I was able to stop him in the hallway and have a conversation with him. I asked him, because his testimony was probably the most troubling so far, because I don't know if it was because he's a rabbi or what he said, or maybe the combination, but he essentially denied what science put to bed, it must have been 50, 60 years ago, conclusively. I mean, absolutely, physically, verifiably, conclusively, that the fetus is a human life, and he replaced it with radical moral relativism, sort of modernism that says, well, we don't really know, so it's right for you, it's right for me. So I asked him, I said, Rabbi, when does a genetically distinct being come into existence in the womb? And there's witnesses to this conversation. This is what he said to me. He said, I'm not sure exactly when, but it's somewhere around 28 weeks. That's insane, honestly. My wife is 28 weeks pregnant right now. That baby was kicking, arms, legs, head. I mean, but besides that, it's just verifiably insane for an adult man who calls himself a cleric to come here as one of the expert witnesses for the pro-choice side, and to actually say that we don't know when human life begins, because that's the only question that matters. So the other side wants to keep this real ambiguous. It's a big mystery. Could be conception, could be birth, might be viability, not sure, so we can abort them. It's complete nonsense. And anyone sitting up there, honest to God, if you actually buy what that rabbi said, you need to resign. Because if you aren't willing to just look at conclusive science, if you're not willing to do that to fit your own agenda, we're going to get a lot of things wrong. Okay? I testified a year ago, and since then, about 5,000 children between the ages of 6 weeks and 23 weeks have been killed in Rhode Island. Those are real people. I don't care if you didn't see them. Have a good day, McEntee.
Sir, if you're going to refer to any representative, you will use
Have
their
a good
title.
day, Representative McEntee and Representative Aiello. I know you don't want to hear this. Big coincidence they left during my testimony. I had the unfortunate experience. Of going to a wake and a funeral in November. Okay, and a lot like what Christiana Gondreau said here, that was for a 20-week-old child. My friend Amanda lost her child at 20 weeks. And they had a beautiful service for this child at St. Pius in a side chapel at St. Pius V in Providence. And I say this as someone who's seen my own son be born. It was the most amazing, beautiful thing that I've ever seen in my life. It was a little baby wrapped up in a blue shirt with a pink hat. His name is Connor, and he was my child, a little bit smaller. And we don't protect those children. Those children can be ripped apart limb by limb in the state. And I just can't believe I live in a world where people like you don't protect these children. That's what I left with that day after looking at that child. I can't believe Connor is not protected in this world. And every time I come up here, there's this battle of being more idealistic or more pragmatic in my approach. Do I seemingly waste my breath up here? trying to explain to adults that it's always wrong to kill innocent human beings. Like, do I take the time to even do that? Or do I simply let you know that, I'm Tyler, I'm from Lincoln, I'm pro-life. I oppose 7340, I support these ones. And I think, 7340 is just radically extreme, even, for people who are much less passionate than me about this. Because is any pro-choice politician really going to change their allegiance from Planned Parenthood to Rhode Island right to life? Is that actually realistic? In the last 2 years, this is an example of why I find it hard to be optimistic about this type of stuff. In the last 2 years, we saw 20 undercover videos, about 20, that clearly showed, beyond any doubt, that Planned Parenthood, they don't just kill defenseless children in the womb, they harvest, they sell their bodies. That you couldn't have something more clear in 16 or 17 videos of Planned Parenthood executives and doctors and nurses saying it, just saying it. And this is what happened. Planned Parenthood got in a big boardroom, and they got their big PR executives around their boardroom, and they came up with this amazing strategy. They said the videos were fake. And most people in this country assume the videos are fake, with no evidence, with no explanation of why they're fake, of why those words aren't really coming out of that Planned Parenthood from Boulder, Colorado executive's mouth. They've somehow tricked you into thinking you're hearing that, but they're fake. That's their big PR move. And I watched it, and I said, this isn't going to work. These are videos. These are clear videos of monstrous activity. People turning a baby around breech, which is more dangerous for the mother, in order to harvest his or her organs. Not caring about the mother, not caring about the baby, certainly, making everything more dangerous for everybody, making a profit off selling them, talking about it over wine and cheese. But we believe they're fake. And there's 15 other ones. You can watch them yourself. They're on YouTube. Everybody can watch them. I mean, what else do you have to do as an organization to show that you're involved in something really, really wrong? What else do you have to do? I mean, can you even think of something? Can you come up with an example of something else that could be on video that would make you say, those might be some bad characters? No. Ripping the arms and legs off children and selling their body parts for profit doesn't do it around here anymore. So should I really expect any of you to actually change? And every year, I have the same answer. And the answer is yes. At any moment, the truth can pierce any one of your hearts, and you can have a conversion. It's difficult to believe sometimes, but no one is outside the bounds of God's grace. He's waiting for you to do the right thing, and he never gives up on you, so that's why I don't either. And there's another reason to come here and tell you the things that I do and the way that I do. Because even if I happen to be convinced that you couldn't change, the reason would be because of Connor, that child I talked about in the beginning. And not specifically Connor, because he was lost naturally, but children like Connor. I've literally seen with my own eyes, I was kneeling before him, I was holding my 1.5-year-old son, and I was looking at the children that we massacre, that we rip apart, that we pull apart. I was looking at him. I know for a fact now, I know from experiential fact, I should say, of just how insane this is. It's awful. So Connor, even if you And these other children that I'm talking about, they don't get the wake, they don't get the funeral, they don't get a name, they don't get a hug, they don't get a tombstone. And there's literally just no record that these babies, these people, these human beings like you and I, just smaller and younger, existed. There's no record. Can you wrap your head around how lonely of an idea abortion is? Can you wrap your head around the idea of what it must be like to exist as a human being, but to be treated as if you never existed? Think about how lonely that is for the child. I'll close with this because I know people are getting restless behind me. I'm sorry. Practically speaking, as a citizen of the state, I'll continue to work so that no person who is unwilling to defend the lives of all human beings gets elected into office. And there is a movement coming that we've yet to fully realize in this state and in this country. With every new ultrasound technological advancement and the more we can clearly perceive the truth of the unborn with our eyes, young people are becoming more and more pro-life. The pro-death politicians' days are numbered. So if you're on the fence, if you're one of the people up there that's maybe a which way is the wind blowing type politician, the science is getting more clear and the ultrasounds are getting better and the younger people are seeing it. We have a pro-life generation coming up. Join the right side. Do what is right. These are human beings that we're killing. God bless you.